Alright, so I don't want this to be too long. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I only saw this about like an hour and a half ago because I have been spending most of my day playing the Marvel Tokon Fighting Soul closed beta because I had gotten an invite a couple of days prior to the first day of the update and just didn't notice this when it came out, and because I'm not actually subscribed to Cory, so I don't really watch his videos. But I did make a video about the situation that had happened with Panda Ninja and how she had come out with some, I guess, allegations, even though she didn't really make any allegations. TLDR, she made a lot of claims that were basically just summed up to that he was a bad boyfriend. There were a lot of people accusing him of SA. That wasn't something that ended up happening. Everything could basically be summed down to he wasn't a good boyfriend. There were plenty of times where he was a bad boyfriend and he had a lot of communication issues. And from the sounds of things, and from what I can tell from reading the messages, it sounded like that they both had some pretty bad communication issues going on from both sides. So this could have been handled a lot better. This was a private relationship that should have been handled privately, but instead of that, it was made public and a lot of people saw it and a lot of people had a lot of things to say, including myself, which is why I made the video. And now we finally have a response from Cory. And most of the video for about the first half of the video itself is basically just him, I don't want to say chastising, but criticizing his audience for their behavior of how they treat him, specifically his own wrongdoings, which mostly has to do with communication and inconsistencies with how he runs his channel, and then criticizing the fact that they try to do his battles for him. And that very much was true if you were seeing all the stuff that was going down with the Panda Ninja thing. And then there was also another guy that made a video, and I just didn't care to want to talk about it, which is why I didn't. There was another guy called Mavatak who had made a video making some claims about Cory that just were either super unsubstantiated or just didn't really matter in the long run and just weren't really worthy of talking about. So I didn't talk about it, and I just ignored it as an ex-friend being salty at Cory for whatever reason he had to be salty against him. I have no idea what it was really about. From what little I saw of the video from other people talking about it, it just didn't really matter to me, so I ignored it. Cory's back though. He made a response in the video. Like I said, for the first half, he did so and so, but then eventually towards when we get to the halfway point, he then actually addresses Panda Ninja directly, and he shows screenshots, and especially he shows a screenshot of him, which I remember making a claim that it might have been cropped and it might have been it had a lot of context left out of it. Like she was cropping it in a specific way to make it seem like he had said something worse than he actually did. Turned out that's exactly what happened. She cropped out a message to make it seem like that he was mocking her cancer diagnosis when that wasn't actually what happened at all. He saw the message, saw what she said, and then, wished her the best of wishes, saying that she is strong, she's capable, she's gonna beat this, and he's gonna pray for her, yada yada yada. And she cropped out the message, and he even showed a couple other messages that showed that she had been trying to get in contact with him multiple times, and that they had been in contact well after they had already stopped being together, I'm presuming. And then eventually there was one final message where he chose to not respond to her because it was a waste of time and they just were never going to make each other work. No matter how hard they tried, it wasn't going to work out. They weren't very good for one another, and so they just stopped communicating afterwards until ultimately Panda Ninja came out with her video and she made all these claims about him. And that's basically it. That's all I really have to say, is that a lot of the things that he had done, yeah, he criticizes himself. He even mentions the video that she had posted along with the claims and the TikToks that she was making, where he makes a very bad joke, a very ill-favored joke, a very bad taste joke, and he doesn't side with that. He thinks that's really bad of him to do. He cringes every single time he sees it. He's not for it, and he apologizes for that. And he even apologized for how he treated her back when they were in a relationship with one another, and she just chose to ignore that completely and leave it out of the context of the messages and videos that she had been posting. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to go off of besides that. I mean, he explained himself pretty thoroughly, acknowledges his own mistakes, apologized for his own mistakes, apologized for how he's handling the channel and how he's communicating with not only his audience but with other people, and acknowledges that he could do a lot better in the future and that he plans to want to do that. And then the rest of the video is basically just him playing a horror game. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. It was a good response. He addressed the things that needed to be addressed. If you want to go check out the video for yourself, please go do so, because I think a lot of people seriously need to hear it, because he says himself that he doesn't like how much he is idolized. He doesn't like how much in the spotlight that he is for a lot of people. Not to say that he's not appreciative of it, but he thinks back on when he was first starting, would he have gone faceless? And he thinks that he probably would have, because nowadays he can't go out anywhere in public without being recognized. He is much more low-key. He's very low-key, basically. He wishes that he had a lot more opportunities to do stuff more privately than what he could do now, because nowadays he can't even go to the freaking zoo and then not get recognized and then be asked, when are you coming back? I think that's what happened in that one video where he had been recognized at the zoo. It's a whole thing. He explains it all much more better than I can. I really highly suggest you go see this video for yourself, because I think a lot of people need to hear it, and I think a lot of people need to hear especially that they need to do better as a community for Cory, because they continuously give him a bad image, and this whole recent thing that happened with Panda was bad, and it should have been handled better, and yeah, that's really all I have to say. So, without further ado, that's pretty much it. I don't have any other opinions other than I think he handled it pretty well. I think the video was really well made. I think he addressed the things that need to be said, and I think it's time to move on. And I'm going to repeat the same thing that he had mentioned earlier, or at some point halfway through his video. Don't go harass the people who are involved. Don't go and harass Panda. She made a mistake. She did this, that, and the other, but that doesn't mean that you need to go bully her, harass her, whatever. There's no reason for that. There's no need to do that. You don't need to fight Cory's battles for him. There's nothing that you need to do for him besides just appreciate the content that he's making and be appreciative that he's even still deciding to want to make content. Because honestly, if this was me in this situation, I probably just would have stopped making videos completely, but Cory is a much stronger human being than I am, I guess. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to see more. I will see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.